990WBOB.com, COVIDCast number 5. I am Pharaoh, host of the show, my co-host and producer extraordinaire. I'm pointing over there because that's where he is on my TV. Mike Sandoval, also host of Well Played. Make sure you check them out. We got a special episode this week. They're all special, but I guess extra special. We got Justin Tisdale from Appanog Brewing. Justin, how you doing, my man?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? How are you?
Living life, as much as we can at this point, anyway. I was lucky enough to stop by today, pick up some of this fine beverage. This is a prospected IPA I'm having right now.
Yep, having some as well.
I think Justin's having the Kolsch, which I got the Kolsch.
Yeah, I'm the guy in the band listening to his own CD today.
Hey, it's good stuff. It's great stuff. I already started early, so whatever. So Justin, how you doing during this quarantine, crazy COVID times that we have going on currently?
I'm thankful to be one of the people that's sort of maintained the absolute insanity that is working in a brewery. Originally going into it, we weren't sure what to expect, and we sort of timed it a little too well and did a lot of our retail store debut literally the day they shut down the state. So we got the information while we were halfway through a canning run destined for liquor stores. So in theory, couldn't have timed it any better than that. And as a result, it's done pretty well. So it's just been trying to keep up with everybody.
And I actually saw both of these. I believe it was both of these at my local liquor store. M's Liquor is good friends of the station. They're right over here on Park Ave in Cranston. Pretty sure. I know they have the Kolsch. I'm not sure if it was which IPA, but I saw that maybe a week ago or so. You also been doing some stuff, I know, on your Facebook. I don't know if it's on your other platforms too. You've been doing your little COVID cocktails, teaching people how to do some good stuff, huh?
Yeah, it's more or less just a joke surrounding me doing a gigantic shot of vodka and complaining about this whole thing. Where it sort of surprised me is it spread a little bit, and there's people I don't know recreating the videos now and sending them back to me. So I guess imitation is the greatest form of flattery as long as everybody's safe about it.
So I know obviously you're a big beer guy, but with the COVID cocktails, what's your favorite mixed drink to go with?
It's kind of all over the place. It changes, but I'm a big fan of a decent old fashions. Okay. I'm a bourbon guy too. So depending on the meal, depending on my mindset, the weather outside, and just generally how I'm feeling, a good Manhattan or a decent old fashioned is certainly a regular go-to of mine.
It seems like a lot of beer guys are also bourbon guys, or we're becoming bourbon guys. If they weren't already, like I've kind of always, I got a little side of bourbon here. I've seen a lot of that lately. Like kind of the craft beer scene nationwide has really jumped on the bourbon scene too, I think.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to draw quite a few parallels there. I mean, they're not all that different in the way you make them, except for bourbon obviously having the added step of the distillation process. There's still that careful consideration to balance and mash bills, raw ingredient selection. You're effectively brewing a beer, distilling it, and then throwing it in a barrel. So it does have that same similarity in terms of why it would kind of draw the craft beer / over engineering enthusiasts like myself to that sort of thing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
And we talked briefly today. Earlier, how, your Kolsch, and then what was the other one that you said was flying off the shelves and you really wasn't expecting it?
The Rock Duster Dark Lager. It's actually in the picture that's on there now. It's the top right, the black can there. That's it's the running joke that a German Schwarzbier is basically it's a brewer's beer. We're the only ones that like them. And I brewed it sort of knowing full well at the time. I'm like, well, this is the last chance I'm ever going to get to brew one of these here, because, you know, it's going to sit on the shelves and then I'm going to be the only one drinking it and then we'll move on. But
Yeah, take it all home. Yeah.
yeah, it was sort of, I mean, not sort of, it was absolutely surprising how much feedback we've gotten specifically from that beer. The amount of people like demanding to know when it's coming back, and me with no contingency plan because, well, I thought that was the only time. But,
Yeah.
you know, there's been a lot of really cool surprises like that with a lot of our beers. You know, it's something I've always said since the beginning is, you know, as much as as flattering as it would be for 100% of the people to like all of my beers, I know it's not practical. And I just love how, you know, almost divisiveness in our industry sort of creates conversation. You know, like nothing makes me happier than seeing half the room love a beer and the other half hate it, and just watch them discuss it.
And that's good. And do you think, like, you know, obviously there's beer drinkers who've been around for a long time, craft beer drinkers, and like a good beer or whatever. But there's also that influx of kind of new people over the last, you know, 3-4 years maybe. Do you think you get them in with the IPAs and the double IPAs, and then, you know, as their palate kind of I don't want to say corrects because I'm a lager guy, but as their palate kind of moves, do you think that's why they're getting into a lot of the Kolsch's and the Pilsners and dark lagers and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's the polar opposite of what it would have been, you know, 7 or 8 years ago in the initial rumblings of this whole like craft beer boom, where, you know, you'd have to brew something boring and bland and fizzy and yellow to bring somebody in to kind of trick them into drinking something else. And
yeah,
now it's, you know, we make a gigantic, robust imperial IPA with, you know, as much as we can stuff into it for hops, and they'll fly in for that, have one of those, and then go, oh, you have a Pilsner, great. So it's definitely kind of gone that way. I mean, the other thing I'm noticing, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with, is there's a lot of people kind of really digging their heels in. You know, people that come in for a very specific thing that just aren't interested at all in trying anything else. You know, you get those people that are, I drink New England IPAs, I don't want anything else ever. Don't even try to get me even a free beer to drink. Which is fine, because there's certainly value in predictability.
Do you do flights over there?
We do, yeah, we do. We've done flights since the beginning, so you can come in and try a little bit of absolutely everything on the menu. We generally have somewhere in the neighborhood of between 6 and 10 of our own varieties on, and then we'll try to have a you know, 1 to 2 guest taps usually through rotation. A lot of times it's stuff that just didn't make it into the schedule for us, or you know, just things like that. But more often than not, it's literally just friends of mine that work for local breweries that have something new and interesting.
Yeah, and so we talked briefly before we went live here, or recorded, or live in front of a studio audience. So you're the president of the Brewers Guild now?
Yeah, I took over as the president this past January. Yeah, so it's you know, it's a nonprofit trade organization. We put on a lot of beer fests. You know, we try to affect some legislative change. You know, it's also used to provide, you know, technical assistance and collaboration for the almost 30 Rhode Island breweries we have now. So it's, you know, as if I didn't have enough to do already. This is the second job that I don't get paid for, but it's been a blast. You know, it's really fun.
And yeah, up to 30 now, man. It's, you know, what do you think about the booming brewery market that we've had here in Rhode Island? I mean, even within the last, let's say, 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest, you know, the biggest explosion of growth that we've had was right after they signed the case law in 2016, I want to say it was.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, since then it's made a completely new business model viable. You know, there's breweries that can sustain themselves, hire and employ people, and not send a drop of beer out in distribution. And they've sort of created sort of almost a touristy type model for themselves. It's been awesome. I mean, it allows for all kinds of versatility. Everybody on that list does something different, does something incredible.
Absolutely.
As far as like the number, I mean, you can look statistically across the country. If you took, let's see, San Diego proper alone and applied that brewery density to the state of Rhode Island, there'd be 20 breweries in Providence alone.
No, wow, really?
Yeah. So
That's
there's
crazy.
definitely room. There's definitely room for everybody there now, and there's probably a little more room, down the road. I know there's 3 or 4 breweries in planning that we'll see pop up in the next year and a half to 2 years now.
Okay. I know, I being a beer geek too, I do sniff around the country for, all the big stuff. I wish I got some of the smaller stuff. And a lot of the stuff in Rhode Island is just kind of just popping on some of those, beer geek sites and stuff like that. But people are, when they get it, like, they want it and they can't get their hands off of it. They're up all our asses to send them 4 packs. Send me 4 packs. Send me 4 pack. And it's great to see because I've been screaming from the rooftops for a while, and you got you know I'll use Monkish just because everybody's the Monkish heads out there. They're freaks for that stuff. And it's I don't even really their IPAs are good, but their saisons and their stouts, I will fight somebody for. Like, and I'm like, oh, but we got some great stuff here. Like, I kind of realized that. I kind of stopped chasing out of state. Especially now, like, I ain't got the money to try to spend on that stuff. And I'm realizing more and more of, like, I just had a cookies and cream stout from 12 Guns.
Mhm.
And that's my first experience with 12 Guns, and I thought it was damn good. I thought it was going to be super sweet, like, but it was very well done. So I definitely got to check them out a little bit more. And I'm guilty with some of the other stuff in the state that I haven't been to. I have my guys that I go to Buttonwoods, I go to Proc, and stuff like that. Like, basically because I don't drive very far, and you guys are all mad close to me. What do you think? What's your feelings on the one thing I think this whole pandemic did was make it easier for everybody to acquire the beer. I can go on the website, I can go on your website, click, 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 go pick up, and I'm gone, good to go. Do you see that continuing once this is all over?
Um, I mean, it's tough to define all over. I hope so. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's necessity is the mother of invention, and I
yeah,
definitely think that something like this is going to have uh, digitizing the process a little always has the perks of a little better predictability in numbers. You know just about every day going into it how much beer you're going to sell because you have all your orders from last night. So
yeah,
you know for me, who's sort of a complete brewery nerd, I think of it as, well, if we know at the beginning of the day instead of the end how much beer we're going to sell, this gives us a way better idea on how to prepare for this, how to better cater to customers, uh, how to prevent accidentally creating that scarcity frantic nature that the beer geeks of the world have hooked right into.
yeah, yeah.
For me, it's just, I try not to follow too much of like the crazy frantic trends in beer. I think Treehouse makes a fantastic beer. Am I going to go wait in line for it? Probably not.
Nah, I could
If,
trade for it. I don't need to wait in line.
so for me, it's just, I like it more from a production standpoint. As far as an industry shift, I mean, I certainly hope so. I think
Mm.
it makes things a lot streamlined, a lot easier. It does remove a little bit of that human element that this whole thing was built on, but I
Yeah.
don't know, we're all good enough at social media. We can all talk in other ways to convey what we're looking to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even stuff, like these Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Like, I didn't think I was going to do this. I never FaceTimed or anything like that before. Like, and we started doing video, and when all this shit happened, it kind of gave us another outlet besides just the radio station and the written form to kind of get stuff out there and have guests in a different platform. And it's been pretty cool. It sucks that they took this to kind of get us to do it, but you know, so impact on small business. I mean, it seems like you're still doing pretty all right over there. I know you want to show off that beautiful joint, man, because it's awesome. Like, I want to go sit. Like, when I came by there today, all I wanted to do was take this and go sit on the deck and watch the water and just chill.
Yeah,
But
I definitely have the added privilege of being able to claim quality control and go have a quick beer on the river after work every once in a while.
That
So
works.
I get that outlet. But yeah, I mean, it's as of right now, it seems like everybody's going to survive it. We've done a ton of work through the Brewers Guild to make sure that that everyone has access to the information they need for any of the support programs in place. We always kind of trade off raw materials, help each other out with with ingredients, process stuff like that. And it looks like we'll all survive it. It's tough to say. It's hard for me to climb up on a soapbox and be like, this sucks for breweries, but it sucks for everybody.
It does, yeah.
So I think we're in a good place. We're definitely in a better place than a lot of other areas that are way more impacted by this. And I just, the biggest thing right now is just keeping people informed to know that we're still there. We're still making beer. You can still get the same beers you were getting. It's just, you got to stand a little further apart and maybe wait in your car and have someone bring them out.
Yeah, worst case scenario, Is there, I'm not sure, but like, is there in the Gina's multiple phases, is there a, when the tap rooms can start kind of opening again, or has that not really been?
There's a little bit of gray area right now that we're actively working on. Actually, when you dropped by today, I was just finishing up some emails to some other folks with the guild about some phone calls we're making, some people we're talking to, and it should be, if not with restaurants shortly after. It's tough to really commit to a date because at the end of the day, there's only 30 of us, and it's kind of a small blip on the radar for a lot of the people in charge of making these decisions. And a lot of people in charge of making the decisions still aren't exactly sure what we do.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah. So when we say, well, we want to open when the restaurant's open, they go, well, aren't you a factory? Or, wait, are you a bar? Because bars technically can't open. And we have to kind of explain to them that we're in this weird little gray area that
in the middle,
in theory is better suited to kind of cater to these requirements. I mean, I spend a good 30% of my day basically soaked in sanitizer. So
literally, yeah.
So yeah, I think everything we've heard is just they've been in great communication with us. All the questions they've had have been valid, and it's just kind of getting them that information to make sure that they know that we're ready to go. We're well prepared. We have the masks, we have the gloves, we have the outdoor space. Once they get that, we'll be able to move a little forward on it.
I think I'm trying to I think a lot of the breweries in Rhode Island that I think off the top of my head that I've at least been to, there's more than enough outdoor space in this space where you can go and just be away from each other and have beers. Your spot, Proclamation's got a huge spot. Buttonwoods has the whole back dock. Like Tilted Barn has a damn farm. So I think I think it's a good point that they might not realize, and that you guys are in that weird spot, that these lawmakers don't understand that you guys have, and with the sanitation that you guys already dealt with just brewing beer, that you guys are probably in the best spot to make this happen and get back out. And see, like, I want to sit on one of those Adirondack chairs right now.
You should see what's out there now. We got rid of that little fire pit and actually had them dig a trench and run a natural gas line. So there's going to be this massive fire pit there ready to go once we can reopen.
That's what's up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I saw that. Yeah, I saw the paving stones or something on one of the pics at some point.
Wow,
that's cool stuff, man. Justin, I know you have stuff to do, and I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, there you go, right there. I'm assuming that's the big pit that you were talking about, right?
Oh yeah. It's just one big natural gas line terminated there for this big 6 or 8 foot diameter fire pit. That should be pretty cool.
That's awesome, dude. I can't wait. So hopefully soon enough we'll be drinking beers together. If you want to hit everybody off with your socials, where they can find you, where they can buy your beer, where they can follow you on your COVID cocktails and whole nine.
So if you go to appanogbrewing.com, that'll bring you to our website. It's Appanog Brewing on Facebook. If you guys really want to see the shenanigans of what I end up doing, I have an Instagram page where I post a bunch of brewery related nonsense, and it's mostly just me drinking or breaking things at a brewery. And then definitely follow any of the Rhode Island Brewers Guild resources. You know, that's kind of the center point for every brewery in the state. You can find there's a map there that you can use. And just if it says Rhode Island, buy it. You know, as much as I want you guys to buy my beer, there's 27 or 28 other breweries here that are just as reliant on it, and it's gonna be plenty of time to hopefully get through all those before we are 100% back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, support everybody, support local, especially when this stuff opens back up. You know, there's beers for everybody. You know, there's beers for everybody's taste. You know, you just gotta reach out and try it. I mean, most of my fans, viewers, listeners, whatever you want to call them, they're all beer nerds. So, you know, they're not drinking Bud Heavy and stuff like that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good Miller High Life, but buy local once this now. Buy it now, because you don't have to wait until everything opens back up, because you can get the beer now. Go to the website, click it, drive down, pick it up, get good. You know, and what else do you have to do right now? Have a nice beer. It's a beautiful sunny day. Have a nice cool beer. You know, but Justin, thank you very much taking a little time out to talk to us. Really appreciate it. And you know, we'll be in touch. I can't wait to come down and have a very beautiful space that you have there, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
No, anytime you get anything going on, you hit me up. We'll definitely have you on, my brother.
Will do.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, fans, listeners. Click like, subscribe. Make sure you hit all the buttons. Make sure you check out 990wbob.com for all the latest past casts, live casts, reads, the whole nine. Check it out. Love it. You got nothing else to do. You might as well sit on your phone or your TV or your laptop. Check us out. We'll entertain you. Leave it up to us. You've already watched everything on the internet. Watch us. We're putting out new content all week long, every week. Come to us for it.